Hi guys, and welcome back to Rebellious Menstruation. And this is a Q&A about frequent questions that get asked by newbies, essentially. I have gone over some of them before, but we'll just do a quick kind of recap. Question 1 is, how do I know what type of shape I would like? This is a very difficult question to answer because single-use products come in very limited shapes and sizes. Single-use products have a particularly standard shape and it has a kind of symmetrical design. So basing your choices off of this shape, while can be a good place to start with cloth pads, is not really a good indicator of shapes. So it is good if you understand where you bleed, whether you're a front, centre or back bleeder, and you can look for shapes to suit that. As you can tell, this is an exposed core, but is actually quite an asymmetrical pad. Okay, this one here has this surged edge and more of a wrap style wing. So this can be quite good if you're a centre bleeder because you have more coverage down the middle with the wings. This one here has these type of fine things, so would suit this kind of centre bleeder. This one here is quite square and straight, so this is kind of more representative of a kind of traditional pad. This one has very flared front and back, and I tend to kind of go out here when I bleed anyway. This one is a front bleeder pad. As you can tell, it has this quite big flare at the front, but you could also wear it that way if you're a back bleeder to give you that flare at the back. This is one of my favourite pads. It is a mermaid shaped pad. I would not have suspected that I would like this, and this is what I'm saying, is that this one is a kitty cat, another great shape and design. This one is an axe, again another fabulous design, and this one here is a flame shaped. I would not have predicted that I would have liked all of these, but I do, and I love them, and I wear them frequently. This one, and this one are all by Venus pads, and this one here is by Kitty Cat Cloth. So again, this one here, straight style, this one here and this one are by Novel Red. She can be found on Etsy and she has her own website. So as you can tell with all of these ones that I'm showing you, this has more of a flare. I think this is called a versatile shape. This one here and this front bleeder one are both from Go With Your Flow. She's on Etsy. She's one of my favourite makers, and she uses corduroy as her backing. So as you can see, these come in a variety of shapes and sizes and styles, and unfortunately there's no really great way to predict this if you've only ever used disposables. This one here is a flared shape by Miss Andrew Maid. This is by Shark Week Sewing. She's a New Zealand maker. This is by wait, no, this is not by Barefly, sorry, I only have two makers who do surge pads, or I only have surge pads from two makers. This is from Homestead Emporium, which is a Canadian maker. This is from Odds and Zombies. So as you can see, oops, sorry, my alien got caught up in that pad. This one here is again another straight up and down with a slight flare. This is from Muff Dusters. And again, this one is longer with another flare. This is from Handmade by Hetty. So as you can see by all of these pads that I've showed you, that there are such a variety of shapes and sizes and styles, and even cuts, models and makes and stitches on the middle, that it is very hard to answer that question unless you try them all out. So the best advice is not to buy too much from one maker. The best advice is to try one or two from a maker, experiment with shapes and sizes, and find the one that suits you best. What type of flow do I have? This is also a very difficult question to answer, as single-use disposable pads and tampons are very deceptive in indicating how heavy your flow is, often due to their very nature, which is plastic and made of cotton, wood pulp and synthetic dyes, chemicals, and inserts and gels, and this can have an adverse effect on your body and your period. I've mentioned in a couple of other videos I got severe contact dermatitis, and I would have said that I had a heavy flow. I always would have said this, and most people I know, I actually in fact have known one person who said that she has a light flow. Everyone else is like, I'm so heavy, I'm so heavy, I'm so heavy. It is very rare to have exceptionally heavy flows. It does happen for some women, and some women absolutely do have heavy flows, but I highly doubt that every single woman has a heavy flow. So you're reacting to disposable products. Also, there's a big cultural background of women being ashamed of their period and taught to be ashamed of their period and taught not to pay attention to it. I found that with cloth pads and menstrual cups, you pay more attention. So therefore it doesn't seem as extreme. And when you get your collection up and running like I have, I can change every, I can actually change every hour if I want to, and have enough pads to get me through my whole period without washing. So if you have a big enough stash, you can actually just change whenever you want, which means even if you do have a heavy flow, you are never going to soak through or fill it up, because you can just change at will. So the next question is, how long is your period? Mine is anywhere between, your period is anywhere between 3 to 7 days, and this is normal. Mine's about 6 days. So this, plus how heavy you are, and how often you need to change, will influence how many pads you will need to have in your personal stash. Do not listen to people who say you need 12 to 20 pads. It is a lie. It is not the truth. And it misrepresents what the cloth pad community is. You may have a light flow. I know somebody who has 5 pairs of Modi Body underwear, and that's all she needs to get through her period, because she is very, very light. That's how she is. It's grand. She loves it. I don't. I'm very heavy. I use a collection of, I have 4 menstrual cups that I use, plus a collection of, I don't know, I really have to count them and probably go through my stash again, probably about 80 or 90 pads, which would probably comfortably get me through 2 periods without washing. And so I don't have to worry about having to change or having to do this. But the biggest recommendation is, how long are you, and also how often do you want to change? I never ever understood people who would only want to change twice a day, outside of period poverty or not being able to afford menstrual hygiene products, which is actually perfectly understandable. If you can afford the products though, I think it's appalling not to change, every 2 or 3 hours at least. Next question is, what would you be more comfortable wearing? So a couple of kind of things here. Do you prefer pads, internal or external protection, or do you prefer a combination of both? I used to hate internal protection. I didn't really wear internal protection until I was 30. I'd only really wear internal protection as a kind of emergency backstop until I was 30. But my work changed radically when I was 30, and tampons became far easier in that job environment and in that work environment to use than pads did. I was on my feet a lot more, and I didn't particularly feel like walking around with a pad on, especially disposable single-use plastic pads. So I ended up quite rapidly switching to tampons, but I hated tampons. They dried out. They made me get really itchy and uncomfortable, and I'd fill them up every 2 hours, and it was just a whole horrible experience. So when I came over to disposable products, I bought both a menstrual cup and some cloth pads. If I'm at home, I use cloth pads. If I'm at work, the menstrual cup is amazing. The fact that I have a big cup for my heavy flow, for my heavy day, and smaller cups for my lighter and normal flow days has revolutionised the fact that I don't have to worry about my period at work. I can put it in the morning, go to work, change it when I get home. It has literally changed how I treat my body. It has literally changed how I view my period. It has literally changed how I react to my period. It has literally stopped me cramping. Just the phenomenal change is amazing, and I don't have to worry about leaking or concerning or changing when I wear my cup to work. But that's me. You may be different. So a couple of pieces of advice: don't buy everything from one single maker, be it underwear or cloth pads or menstrual cups or sponges. Experiment, try and discover for yourself within your financial budget, of course. However, truly thinking of what you do in your life, sport, work, internal versus external protection, and investigate which one works best to build your stash from there. Other issues to consider is your ability to clean your cloth pads, and if you have any other barriers to using these products, such as, you know, financial issues or washing machine issues. As essentially reusables are far more customizable than single-use disposable products. And there are also, the last one that we're dealing with is financial aspects. So you should be considering your financial aspects as well as, because the price point of a packet of pads is approximately $5 to $10 Australian or AUD. For a packet of between 12 and 10 to 20 of disposables. Cups come with an average price point of $50, and this is if you are able to buy them in a shop, because there'll be more if you're paying for postage and handling. And pads range from $8 to $30 depending on the size and absorbency of the cloth pad. In the long term, it is far cheaper to buy reusables. For example, if you choose a cup and a couple of backup liners, you may actually get away with it for, say, under $100. However, this may last you up to 10 years if cared for properly, and an average period will cost you $20 to $50 per month, which will equate to $250 to $600 per year. So utilising single-use disposables is far more financially unviable than using reusables. However, using reusables is a far higher outlay cost. So just keep that in mind when you're collecting your stash and when you're starting to look into it. Anyway, the usual things apply. My contact details are in the description below. Outside of that, you guys have been using YouTube for long enough to know what you guys need to be doing if you want, and outside of that, enjoy your morning, evening or night. Bye.